What happens when the people trusted to enforce the law actually enjoys it? In most police procedural, justice feels heavy, burdened by bureaucracy, weighed down by personal demons. But here at the 99th Precinct, it's not about the bleak or the brutal. It's about balance, about finding joy in the job even when the job gets messy. Because when a precinct is run by a nonsensical captain, staffed by detectives with quirks bigger than their caseload, and somehow still closes cases like clockwork, something's different. These officers don't chase glory or thrive on violence. They solve crimes with wit, warmth, and just the right dose of chaos. They prank each other mid-case, obsess over office competitions, and still manage to bring real criminals to justice. BrooklynNine-Nine doesn't ignore the darkness, it just refuses to be consumed by it. It reminds us that hope, humor, and heart doesn't weaken a story, they define it. Because in a world that often demands cynicism, this show offers something else entirely. A group of people who believes that being good at their jobs doesn't mean losing themselves in the process. So if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button and check out my other videos after this one. And now, without further ado, let's explore Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Chapter 1. Absence of Cynicism. In an age where heroes seems desensitized to their actions and a darker undertone runs beneath every narrative, the 99th Precinct feels like a cure for all that cynicism. What police procedural have become over the many long years of that format is a slow drift into bleakness. The concept of hope has been diluted, the distinction between good and bad is blurred, replaced by a need for compromise, where even the good guys must carry a darker persona. Police work in these narratives no longer feel like redemption. Solving a case doesn't represent change or progress either for the character or society. Instead, it feels like a monumentous grind, another day, another crime. Investigations are portrayed as mechanical, joyless cycles, fixated on the worst of humanity, because that's just how things are. Then comes Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a spark of hope amidst all the narrative gloom. While the series doesn't shy away from tackling serious issues, what sets it apart is its refusal to glorify them. Instead, the spotlight is on the characters. These are the people who genuinely love being police officers, and that makes all the difference. Detectives like Jake Peralta and Amy Santiago are essential to the shift. For Jake, being a cop is like living out a dream. He's a die-hard action movie fan, and the job feels like one big thrilling adventure. For Amy, the badge symbolizes both tribute to her family and a deeper sense of pride in a meaningful work. These characters strive to find light even in the darkest of situations. This optimism and humanity lightens the tone to an otherwise heavy subject matter. It brings in a broader audience than the standard police procedure could ever do, and that emotional balance is what makes Brooklyn Nine-Nine resonate so deeply. Chapter 2. Satire Not Woke. Diversity in its very essence has proven to be a great strategy for bringing in new audiences to a story. But the trick is, this same essence of diversity only works if the characters are actually well written, rather than simply existing to fulfill a diversity quota on a checklist. Brooklyn Nine-Nine represents the best essence of what it means to live in New York City, a melting pot where diversity could be its second name, given how culturally rich and varied the city is. The characters in the series reflects the same energy, from two black characters who hold significant power in the 99th Precinct, to two Latino characters, and even the white characters. Everyone brings something unique in terms of background and personality. Instead of overtly preaching the benefit of a diverse cast, the show allows the audience to appreciate the diversity naturally. It doesn't hold the audience's hands with messaging, it simply humanizes its characters. They are all police officers who get along and do their jobs well, and the show finds joy in their everyday interactions. Their racial sexual preference is never the focal point of the story. Yes, the series occasionally tackles culturally relevant issues, but that isn't the core purpose of the show, nor should it be. The modern habit of checking diversity boxes has fragmented TV fandom, creating division rather than unity. What the world needs more of are shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, shows that embraces representation that shouldn't feel like homework, it should feel like a given. That's what Brooklyn Nine-Nine gets right, characters who represents the real world without pausing the story to announce it. Chapter 3. Authority Without Violence. When it comes to any police procedural these days, it's all the same thing, with just a minor adjustment to distinguish itself from the others. It often offers bloody and violent scenes to get the viewers invested, suggesting that it is a show full of gore and mystery behind the crimes that takes place in each episode. But what if that portion of the appeal, the violence, was never there? It is an intriguing question to ask. I mean, how could you have any cop series that has no violence? And that's what makes this series such an interesting case. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, although grounded in reality, feels like it lives in an alternate world where everyone just seems much happier. It's a place where the dangers of crime are still present, but instead of showing the violent elements, the show steps back from them. The mystery behind the crime is sometimes still there, but the truth is that there's rarely any blood shown throughout the entire 8 seasons. Rather than relying on the usual tropes of violence and intensity, the show strips away the familiar identity that defines most procedurals, shifting the focus on a different kind of storytelling, one rooted in character development. It gives the spotlight to the characters, the authority figures in the series. It humanizes the police officers in a way that is so rare to see, giving the characters focus instead of the crime itself. Maybe that's why the world it's set in feels so much happier. It's because of the characters we come to know and love, rather than brutality we've grown desensitized to. Chapter 4. Investment into the low-stakes situations. When it comes to the day-to-day of what police officers do, popular police procedurals have created a misconception that their lives are either consistently intense or unbearably dull. These shows often depict officers either buried in a high-stake case or scrambling in a panic to finish paperwork. But this series deconstructs that notion. It takes a step back from the typical high-stake drama and instead presents police officers as humans, ordinary people with ordinary experiences. The focus isn't on adrenaline-pumping melodrama, it's on the smaller, more personal moments that builds character and connection. What makes the series stand out is how it invites the viewers to care about these small events. These are treated with as much attention and care as the dramatic, life-or-death situations seen in other shows. Over the seasons, the 99th Precinct has grown into something resembling a family. The recurring pranks and running gags matter because we, the audience, have come to care about these characters and their world. There's no need for graphic violence or intense gore to keep us hooked. The show succeeds by leaning into its strength, like Jake's immaturity, Boyle's obsession with universal food, or the annual Halloween heist. These are the moments that stay with the viewers, not the kind of content that leaves you feeling unsettled long after the credits roll. Chapter 5. Competency Without Ego. In an ensemble narrative such as many police procedural shows, there are 2 ways the series can go. One path focuses on a singular primary character who possesses innate skills in solving cases, with the rest serving as supportive figures, bringing quirks but remaining secondary. The other, rare yet more realistic option, involves a group of characters, each with their own interests and characteristics, who understand their strength and weakness and are willing to collaborate to solve cases. In the 99th Precinct, there is no "I am a better police officer than you" mentality. Instead, the characters work together, relying on the shared skills they know each of them bring to the table. While some characters may have a bigger ego than others, the series ensures each one is written to complement the rest. Without one another, the squad would feel incomplete. This is what makes the series so compelling to watch. The story is driven by the characters. It doesn't require complex mysteries or elaborate cases to push the narrative forward. The personalities and interactions of the characters are what sustains the show. Even when a situation escalates, the series always shifts focus back to the characters rather than the events themselves. Why? Because without them, Brooklyn-Nine-Nine wouldn't be what it is. It's a character-driven story first, plot second. Without that mutual respect, the show wouldn't just lose its charm, it wouldn't work at all. Chapter 6. The Ending. In life, what does an ending look like? Is it the point where we die, or does an end happen in each chapter, each reflecting who we were as a person during that specific time? In the case of Brooklyn-Nine-Nine, what would an ending look like? Each year the character stays at the 99th Precinct, the more it feels like the precinct is not just their place of work, but a home. But change as always finds a way in. Relationships are tested, promotions are offered, reform is introduced. And with that comes the quiet, uncomfortable question: what makes a good cop today? From my point of view, the justice system is a dam built to hold back the chaos. And like any dam, cracks appear, water leaks. What Brooklyn-Nine-Nine does so well is show us a team that doesn't just patch the cracks. They hold the whole thing together through trust, humor, and the refusal to give in to cynicism. Their attitude towards police work, while still finding joy in the job, reflects a kind of balance rarely seen on TV. Whether it's office gossip that spirals into chaos, or a prank war that somehow becomes sacred tradition, the series finds the heart in all of it. And that heart is what a good cop looks like. They don't ignore the flaw of the system, they face them, they call out corruption, they push for change, and they adapt. And when it's time to move on, each of them make a choice: to rise in rank, to leave, to teach the next generation. But wherever they go, they carry the same idea with them. Being a good cop means being a good person first. Even outside the precinct, even long after the last case, they still carry that duty forward. Because even after they part ways from each other, their true bond and what they stood for carries on. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon in the next review episode.